Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I invite all of you guys to think about a question. What is possibility? Is it the number of options in front of us? Or is it the ability to build something meaningful within limits that we didn't choose? For a long time, I believed it meant being chosen. Chosen to lead, chosen to drive, chosen to win. I was 17 when I was forced to confront this question. Not in the classroom, not in the school, but in the heat of robotics competition. And the constraint was my brother. It was the matches in Shanghai, our first regional in 2025. After countless hours of working for 2 months, I was chosen as the first driver of our team, the sole controller of the robot. And I spent nearly my entire winter holiday in the engineering studio, tirelessly refining and repairing our robot. And I am confident in saying that I knew my robot just like my own heartbeat. But then, everything changed. The practice match on the first day didn't go as hoped. Problems and accidents kept piling up. And the day before the qualifications, our coach sent me a message. Due to the line selection after discussion, the main driver would switch back to my brother, who is more experienced. My mind went blank suddenly. I wasn't prepared to confront this news. My mom and dad had sent me a message trying to comfort me, but the anger had flushed over me and nothing can calm me down. I began questioning my ability, comparing myself to my brother, and trying to understand why he was chosen over me. Have you guys ever felt that before? That the person you admire most became the person that makes you doubt your ability? There's a famous poet, Dylan Thomas, once wrote, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." At that moment, I was raging. I was frustrated by the fact that my chance, my role, my possibility was stolen. And that spotlight wasn't mine anymore. It felt as if my possibility had fallen, discouraging me from the role that I worked so hard to earn. All of a sudden, I remember the day when we were busy with the prototype testing in the engineering studio. We never directly abandoned the whole machine when one of the components failed the stress test. Instead, we learned, we observed, and we redesigned it. My role of being the main controller was gone, but my passion for robotics didn't fade away. So the next day, I returned to the arena with a new role, my brother's assistant. I worked with my teammates from other teams to negotiate game strategies and the line selection, taking a key role beyond driving. From this new position, I saw the entire game for the first time. Not just that exciting 135 seconds of control, but the rich negotiation and cooperation between teams and robots. Perhaps my possibility didn't vanish. I just needed to approach it through a new way, from a new perspective. If the experience in Shanghai was an awakening, then the next regional in Colorado was a real test for me. This time, I was back as the driver, and my brother has become my coach. We climbed to rank number 3 in the qualifications, and the championship felt close. But our line selection didn't seem successful, and we were eliminated early, again. I then became an audience, sitting on the chaotic arena floor, waiting for the old, familiar rage and tears from Shanghai. But tears didn't drop. What came was a cold clarity. In engineering, the system breakdown isn't a disaster. It's experience and data. It's the most accurate and honest evaluation you can get. The first breakdown in Shanghai revealed something uncomfortable. My sense of worth was tied entirely to the external validation, to being the chosen one. I wasn't building my own possibility. I was waiting for it to be spoon-fed to me. And this second breakdown in Colorado pointed to a deeper issue. My entire framework for measuring possibility was wrong. Transcending my brothers appeared to be my only core goal. Since I was born, it seemed that I had been replicating him, attending the same school, having the same hobby, and following the same path. Scientific research had proved that it is impossible to find two identical leaves on this planet. I committed myself to making my own way out. No matter good or bad, just be yourself, fight for yourself, not your brothers or parents, just yourself. I have heard these kind of quotes 1,000 times before, but until this moment, I deeply felt it in my heart. My purpose was not catch up with my brother or compete with his achievements, but achieve my own goals and build my own careers. I had to pile my own mountains of possibilities rather than climbing someone else. I also redesigned my whole system for resilience. Winning was exciting, but so was learning new skills, and so was practicing under pressure. In a single goal systems, failure is a period. It ends the sentence. But in the multi-goal systems, failure is just a comma, feedback, pause, and the sentence continues. That's why the failure and the processes around it started to matter to me. And all these changes led to the final stage, the off-season events held in Sanya. We upgraded our robot, and again, I was the main controller. But what made this event special was that my brother was leading the opposing alliance, controlling his robot. The familiar tension returned. An unexpected alliance selection followed by a difficult elimination round. But luckily, we followed all the way to the finals, and on the other side was my brother's team. The match was fierce. The final strategies failed. My brother won the championships. I walked over and held my hands. He didn't shake it. He pulled me into a hug. At that moment, I felt something warm and steady, something familiar, just like the final scene of the movie you didn't expect. After 2 years of driving, my brother has won his first gold medal. And somehow, I have also found my own possibility too. Not by beating him, but by becoming myself. We have both reached a place that neither of us had ever imagined before. And we have never faced each other on the same stage like this. And our story, once shaped by obstacles, comparisons, and competitions, has transformed. We weren't rivals or reflections. We were brothers, standing on the different sides, but still fighting for the same dream. On the podium, his gold and my silver side by side, but I felt no bitterness, but only a deep, quiet fullness. There's a line in the stellar that says, we have always defined ourselves by the ability to overcome the impossible. But I learned something different. Possibility isn't about where you stand. It's about you knew that you built the ground beneath your feet with every obstacle you didn't avoid and every constraint you chose to face. And what's my final takeaways? Actually, a very simple practice. First, ask a different questions. When you got hit a wall, don't just ask, why me? You can try to ask, what kind of tricky game are this wall trying to play with me? And then realize that all this is just a signal, an experience for a change. And next, make a change. Just one. Adjust your belief, add a skill. And finally, ship it. Put this new version of you into this new world. It might fail at the very beginning, but that was just the testing for the next upgrade. And that's the cycle. Reframe, listen, change, and apply. We often feel poor in possibilities because we are always trying to find a single, perfect, unobstructed path. Your constraint might not be a person. It might be a circumstance, limitations, or cast doubt. But I wish you could also take a look at your own specification sheet, the raw materials you were made from, and the unique skills you acquire that build your own possibilities. Don't ask for a world with few constraints. Ask for the strength to build more interesting things with the constraints you have. Because we are not the discoverers of possibilities. We are its architects. Thank you.